Twigs. PC will not let me play anything. My PC crashes and freezes when I try to run a game. It doesn't show a signal, and even if I wait, it doesn't come back on, while other times it will flicker and then come back on, but then I can't interact with anything. It says, let me make sure that my audio didn't mess up. Okay, no. Interact with it. Sometimes when I play Overwatch, it kills my recording, so I'm just making sure that it didn't. And even if I wait, it doesn't come back on, while other times it will flicker and then come back on, but I can't interact with anything. It says my driver's timed out. I don't know what to do. And when I try to run VR games, it crashes and says Steam VR has encountered a fatal error. I reinstalled Steam, that didn't do anything. I updated my drivers, nothing. I deleted and re-downloaded my drivers and nothing. And this has came from happening once in a while to every time as I download more stuff. I don't know if this is an AMD problem or what, but I'm completely clueless. And then you have a Ryzen 3 4350G, and then you have B550M ITX motherboard with a DDR4 32 gigs of RAM and an RX 580. And I average 30 degrees Celsius on idle, and then 60 to 85 while playing games on intense, which is pretty 580-ish. My PC crashes and freezes. When I try to run a game, it doesn't show a signal. And even if I wait, it doesn't come back on, while other times it will flicker and then come back on, but then I can't interact with anything. It says my driver's timed out. I don't know what to do. Okay. So basically the screen times out between the graphics card and the monitor. Okay. Well, the RX 580, every model of the 580 only has one 6-pin, I believe. I don't think any of them have. I don't think they do. 500 watt. What's this power? What's her power supply? Did she say? Well, okay. It could be a power supply issue. It's a possibility if they're running something less than a 500, but the chances of her running something less than a 500 is super low. So I don't really think it's going to be that. It doesn't show specifically for some reason what GPU. Okay, well, let me find one that's actually populated and we can figure this out. Nope. Okay, so none of them are populated. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I have one, but it's in the other room and I just don't want to grab it. But I'm pretty sure it only takes a 6-pin or an 8-pin. So with this one here, well, okay. So what you would typically say for something like this, in this particular issue with it freezing like that, is you can say, well, okay, cables, you can't really call that freezing. That won't actually cause it to freeze like that. It may go out and not come back, but it won't freeze on you. So it makes me think that you really are having a graphic issue, but they said they've already tried to uninstall and reinstall the drivers. So now we're just kind of looking at the graphics card having some problems. So at that particular point in time, we can try to reseat the graphics card. We can also make sure that the 8-pin is going into it. Okay, well, because it is freezing and not just giving you a black screen, it sounds more like the GPU is having some difficulty. What resolution and frame rate do you run at? Also, could you try to power off the PC and reseat the graphics card? And reseat the graphics card by removing it from the slot and putting it back in. Also, make sure the 8-pin is plugged into it. You can also try to hook up the 580 into a different, no you can't. She has an ITX build. ITX, right? Yeah, ITX. Micro ATX, but still. No, it's ITX. MITX, yes, ITX. Okay, yeah, so you can't swap it. It's just reseat is all we can really do here. Oh, we can also update the BIOS. Also, try to update the BIOS to the most recent version to see if that makes a difference. There we go. Yeah, that's how I'll play that one. You know, if we're talking about graphics and we're talking about freezing, so if we're talking about freezing, then you can't really say that it's monitor or cable, because if it's cable, it'll just disconnect you and you won't have a picture. It won't necessarily freeze you. If it's a monitor, it'll just go out and you can power it back on or something like that, or unhook the display cable and plug it back in and it should work just fine, but it won't freeze you. She's getting frozen. So the only person that you can really blame for that is the motherboard or the GPU, or possibly the CPU. But at that point, that's, you know, it's pretty much game over at that point. So with this one here, the only thing you really can do is reseat the graphics card, make sure the 8-pin is going in, and then also update the BIOS of the motherboard just in case there's some issues or some problems there. Seeing the fact you've already uninstalled and reinstalled the most up-to-date drivers of AMD. So that's pretty much all you can do with that 580 there. Hopefully that helps. And then we just kind of go from there.